What's going on, guys? Aggronix here and welcome back to another battle. Jesus Christ, that was bad. That was really poor. We have a D-League battle with Chris Alo.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
And I know the result, Chris knows the result. We will not tell you the result until the end of the battle, but basically I wanted to have Chris here. Chris played against Thor 1999, aka
Jax,
thank you, and his coach Doruk. So really intense match. So we'll start it off by saying first turn we'll play without music. So he led with Archeops and you led with Nidoqueen.
Oh shoot! I gotta turn that volume down.
So you led with Nidoqueen to obviously scout for the Clefable.
Yes, that's exactly what I did because I figured our Sableye lead was very obvious.
So why did you stay in?
I stayed in because I was very worried about the Endeavor Archeops, and I looked it up. If I was Scarfed, Thunderbolt killed him. If he wasn't banded, Earthquake did not kill me.
Oh, so he's banded, that's why Earthquake killed her.
Yeah.
So that's okay. So then you go to Skarmory, that's pretty basic, that makes sense.
Yeah, I actually went for Stealth Rocks right there, predicting the Endeavor. Yeah. Because I figured Skarmory's way too easy of a switch in, so why would he go for Earthquake on the first turn? And I just kind of over predicted right there.
That wasn't good. Next time, just that like I'm pretty sure you can kind of tell what we're talking about. So then he goes in Latios. You go for Taunt. That's fine, I guess.
Yeah, I was kind of. I don't really know who I was predicting to come in at that point. Just maybe to like stop somebody from setting up, or.
I feel like we should have just clicked Brave Bird.
Yeah, that probably would have been the better play.
Or predicted the swap at Latios, because Latios is actually kind of a weird swap for him.
Yeah, or if he brought in the Clefable, because if the Clefable was carrying Flamethrower or something, then he also couldn't set up Calm Minds or Stealth Rocks.
You made a decent play, go into Tangle's predicting Thunderbolt. He goes into
he could touch me.
Scizor as you go for knockoff. That's fine. You go into Entei. Pretty standard stuff here. I'm assuming he goes for knockoff himself. He actually goes for U-turn.
He goes for U-turn, and you'll see this is a very common play throughout the match.
So you leave. You go into Tangrowth on the Gastrodon.
Right.
You go back into Entei to do what?
I go back into Entei because the Scizor is an obvious switch in for.
Oh, okay. You predicted the Scizor.
He ended up having Protect, so that kind of backfired in my favor, or in his favor. So
then you went into Skarmory. Takes a crap ton of damage.
Yeah. I was thinking maybe Earth Power was coming or something like that, and I don't know what I was gonna do to him, but just kind of see what he wanted to do throughout the battle with this Gastrodon.
I think Florges was probably your better play in that regard, instead of going in Skarmory on the Gastrodon. But you go into Tangrowth, as you go for Scald again. He can't burn you obviously because you're toxic.
Right.
And so he goes for Protect. This time you do stay in. You just go for Knockoff.
Yeah, I go for no. I actually went for Leaf Storm.
You go for Knockoff, and then you went for Leaf Storm as he brings in the Scizor. You have Knockoff on the Protect, is what I meant. Yeah. And then you go into Daisy the Florges on a Scizor, predicting the U-turn.
Predicting the U-turn, yes. And like I said, this is a very common play throughout the whole thing. And here's the Clefable, and I thought that was like an interesting play to come in right now.
But he goes for Calm Mind.
But he goes for Calm Mind, so obviously he can just set up all over me. And I didn't really want that to happen, so I brought back in Entei.
Who is Assault Vest?
Yes, who is Assault Vest? I can take +1 Moonblast, like no problem, and whatever else he has. He actually ends up going for the Flamethrower.
Tell me you stayed in on this. You do not stay in on the Gastrodon. And the reason that was the right play there is because, first of all, you're Assault Vest. Second of all, he can't burn you with Scald. And it won't do too much anyway. And if you went for a Sacred Fire there again, I'm pretty sure 3 Sacred Fires, especially with the burn that you got, would have taken him out. I'm almost 100% sure. So sometimes just playing caution-free really does work out. But you do go into the Tangrowth as he takes a little more burn damage. He goes into Scizor the first turn this time, and you go for Knockoff. That's fine. Knockoff does more than Leaf Storm ever would anyway, so you don't really lose anything. You go back into Entei, and it's just kind of same stuff over and over again. He goes for Roost,
Yeah.
so at least you know he has Roost now. He swaps,
Right.
goes in a Gastrodon.
Yeah, it just forces him to hard switch at this point instead of getting the little chip damage off. And again, Sacred Fire.
And unfortunately, Sacred Fire, you go for it this time, but he obviously recovers here. I'm assuming yes. See, before he wouldn't have, for sure, like he didn't. So there's not a lot you can do there.
Yeah, there's literally nothing I can do to this Gastrodon, and I knew it was going to be a problem the entire game. Like, I had to get Tangrowth in on it, but the only thing is that I can't do anything to Scizor, so that is a switch in 100% of the time, especially that it has Roost.
Yeah, and I think the big problem is that I'm like letting the turns run through. You go into Skarmory, he goes into Latios on your Skarmory. Obviously, we could tell that Skarmory was a huge problem for him from the way he brought in a Latios on it. But you see your Psyshock Life Orb does a lot to Florges. But I think for you is the Sableye not coming in earlier was a huge thing in my opinion. Like I'm seeing right here, Scizor would have been hard walled by that.
Yeah, but the thing is, the Clefable was a switch in every single time because I can't hit the Clefable with anything, right? And I have the Shadow Ball on it,
That's true. So you go into Skarmory on the Archeops, he goes for Stone Edge, does a crap ton of damage. So, that's definitely Choice Banded. And,
yes, it was Choice Banded because that's the only way he could have killed me with the Earthquake turn 1.
And he swaps out into Scizor on your Tangrowth, which is interesting. I guess because he knew it was an instant swap, it was an easy swap.
Yeah.
He swaps out you swap in a Skarmory on his Scizor your turn. So Joey was actually, he brings in the Sharpedo, I saw this coming actually, yeah. Joey was joking about how you lost. Whoops! Well, it's kind of obvious, guys. It's not looking great. It's not looking great.
No.
So, like, I don't think you can fault it though. The first turn was a horrible misplay.
Yeah, it was definitely a misplay, but I went through it. I was like, U-turn's extremely obvious right now because it will give him a lot of momentum. He could go for a Stealth Rocks right now, predicting my T-Bolt with a Sash, and then he Endeavors next turn, and I'm down to 1 health.
But at the end of the day,
Stone Edge doesn't kill me, and Earthquake doesn't kill me unless he's banded. And plus, I had a Skarmory who is a complete switch into this thing, so I was like, I have to stay in, hopefully get my Stealth Rocks. And as you see, that with this much switching, Stealth Rocks would have been a huge advantage for me this game. And
you do eventually kill the Scizor Sacred Fire.
I do.
You predict the U-turn on the Archeops, which is a good play. You go for Iron Head though.
I do go for Iron Head because at that point I was like, I don't have anything for this Archeops. There's nothing on.
It was so obvious. Like if you stayed in, he was going for U-turn. So that was definitely a misplay.
I thought at that point I have to bank on a Stone Edge miss. So I was like, I'll get
that's fair enough.
I'll get a Iron Head off. It did have a chance to kill, so I was like, let's go for it. It will open a big hole for me for his offensive one of his offensive pressures to go down, and that would kind of dictate the rest of the match. But
he goes back into Gastrodon, just kind of walls out your Entei. Maybe we should have, on our end, it was our fault. We should have done something with Entei, with Solar Beam or what have you.
Yeah, I went back to it and I was like, Special Entei would have completely destroyed its team. He was not ready for that.
But he did have Calm Mind Clefable, so you can't really say he didn't have anything for it.
That's true. That's true. And then I guess we wouldn't have too much for Clefable, but we would have implemented some other things for Clefable at that moment.
Yeah, and you see the Tangrowth there go for Leaf Storm. At this point, he's just able to wall out your thing. You go for Poison Jab, which was a nice show there.
Yeah, I definitely think he calced something for Poison Jab not to do 50% to this Clefable, so he can just soft boiled up on me.
Or you're predicting Sludge Bomb.
Or Sludge Bomb.
So he predicts you're swapping Entei, and this time he goes for Earthquake, which is completely safe play, even if you have Tangrowth.
Right, with Skarmory gone, he can go for Earthquake and just basically kill anything. So
it's pretty unfortunate week 1. Well, I'll let the rest of it play out, but I think it's just turn 1, honestly.
Yeah, I think it was.
Turn 1, that initial shock that Nido Queen is dead.
I did have to calm down a little bit. I was really, I wasn't too surprised, but I was definitely brought back a little bit from that turn 1 play. Yes, it was kind of a misplay on my part.
To be fair to him, I mean, Choice Bandit Archeops, it's really good.
Yes, and what we mentioned in the team builder, his team's so much faster. I think 110 base speed. Like, of course he can run Choice Bandit and not worry about not having to outspeed anything that's not Choice Scarf.
Not even a little bit. So he was completely fine in that regard. And yeah, I think it is just that first turn. There are a few plays, like I said, the Sacred Fire on the Gastrodon, you not going for the straight up attack. But Clefable Latios Mega Scizor Core is really good.
Yeah.
You can't, we can't say that, it was all the playing. Like, because I don't think you made too many misplays other than that first one.
I thought about it a little bit, and I do think it was that turn 1 that dictated the whole thing. And as you can see, he had a lot of pivot potential around my team where I didn't. I had to make the bold predictions for doubling. Yeah. And honestly, Nidoqueen didn't help me out with that because, again, I would have had to hard switch out either into her or out of her. So if he had a response for Nidoqueen that just completely walled her, then I would have pretty much been in the same boat.
It is unfortunate. I think another thing as well, the U-turn on Archeops and Scizor really, really mess with your head.
Yeah.
Because U-turn is just a great move, There's not really any... You don't really get punished, especially he didn't, for going for that. So, you'll see here. So, that's going to be it for week 1. Pretty disappointing first week. But you know what? Many teams have lost in the first week, and they've gone on to do fantastically in the league. Next week, we go up against Yodeler and Jay's team, which is actually pretty funny. I was talking to Jay just like 40 minutes ago. We're doing a a versus, and it's a lot of fun. And we were just talking about the team. His team was pretty good. So I think we're going to have a little bit of an easier time in that regard. But I hope you guys have enjoyed. Thank you, Chris, for being here for the thing. And I wouldn't worry too much about it. First week are always very, very nerve-wracking. And now that you've had the battle, you can,
Right, and again, this is my first draft league, so this first week definitely taught me a lot about how to team build in the future and maybe what to bring, what not to bring for certain Pokemon. And I think it was a very good learning experience, even though we did lose. So.
And another thing as well, I was telling you that I made playoffs in the main season. I won my first game 1-0 in a match that I should have 6-0'd. I swear, the first week is really nerve-wracking, and that was my first draft league ever. So, trust me when I say that just because you don't have a lot of experience in draft league does not mean a single thing. So I think we're going to come back next week. We're going to play Yodeler, and I think we're going to do a lot better. If you guys are excited for the Cork City and the Indianapolis Rapidashes to come back for next week, make sure to have his like button down below for us. And with that being said, it's a bye from me and a bye from Chris. Bye-bye!
See you guys.